And welcome to your weekly interval. This is the Best Damn Nerd Show. I am your host, Microphone Alchemist James Kincaid. With me tonight's Imperial Commissar Jeff Budd.
Resident Evil 8 launch day, lead story?
Maybe you'll have to tune in to find
Jeff.
out. It's not. And Professor Chris Davis.
I got nothing. I'm just happy being here with you two. Hello, gents.
Oh man, it's you sound
day.
Reasonably sober too, which
we're recording a little earlier.
Yeah,
so.
that's fair. The last couple have been a little bit late record nights and everyone, but it's good to have you two back on the show and us to get it going here. And we're gonna kick things off with the semifinal round of the Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter bracket, heroes versus villains with the fate of Earthrealm in the balance.
Oh, man.
And I think in the quarterfinals things took a little bit of a turn. There were some upsets. Shao Kahn, Ryu, both going home. It was surprising. People's brackets were left in disarray. I guess before we get into how this played out, because Jeff, I know it's been a minute. How have you any surprises to you thus far as we head into that? About to talk about the semifinals.
Well, Ryu and Shao Kahn were my finalists, so yeah, my bracket got dismantled last week. I think last week everyone I voted for lost. I think that's the only week where that happened, because I voted Vega over Sagat. I love Vega. I voted Liu Kang over Sub-Zero just out of respect to Liu Kang. Ryu over Chun-Li. Girl power. I didn't know any better. And then who did Shao Kahn? Oh, Goro. Yeah, I definitely voted Shao Kahn over Goro. I voted Shang Tsung over Goro. I've been voting Goro out ever since I helped the tiebreaker to support him.
Yeah, well, monkey paw wish, dude. So
I've been destroyed by my own creation.
Yeah, and he went far. Sagat became something of a fan favorite for me after he.
I had to vote for him this week after just how much you were talking him up.
Yeah, he's.
You know what? Cinderella story. It's a feel-good story. You know what? I'm almost rooting for the villains to win at this point, just for Victor Sagat.
Yeah, kind of am too. Davis, any big surprises to you?
The two that we're gonna find out lost this week. I was still surprised that they made it to the final four.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess one.
I would not think those two would have made it this far at all. The other two I can still picture, Sagat and Sub-Zero. But
Sub-Zero for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he was probably
the 2 seed.
He was probably my favorite to come out of the Mortal Kombat side. So, but not Sagat, but even though I like him a lot. So,
yeah, if we're talking about just fandom, maybe Sub-Zero is really a 1 seed.
Yeah,
I mean, just because we love and respect Liu Kang, and story-wise, sure, but I don't know. The fans love Sub-Zero.
I couldn't, in good conscience, not put Liu Kang as the one. Excuse me.
The Illuminati.
I'm sure that if they...
that was a close one.
Yeah, I'm sure the Illuminati probably felt that out of respect for Liu Kang. They couldn't possibly conceive of a world.
You've gotten so deep into investigating the Illuminati that you're speaking about them in first person. I mean, wow.
It's true. I've been Thank you.
Once they get in here, man.
Well, that's why I'm not vaccinated yet, because I know it's all just a plot by them to control me. Even though they have
watched the Bad Batch 12 times.
They have been kind masters thus far. Other than that, of course, I respect them, of course. But yeah, between the Illuminati conspiracy and the Rockstars conspiracy from Skyrim, those are the things that I dive deep into. So
Google. Dude, I don't read the dialogue or anything in Skyrim. I just I spam the screaming button.
I don't believe that.
Dragon Howl.
I don't believe that for an instant. I know you're into the lore. We talked about this. I'm really into
decorating my house.
Hey, as was I, but everybody do yourself a favor. If you're into Skyrim, take a trip to Rorikstead and then look into the Rorikstead conspiracy. It's pretty eerie. But let's get back into the Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter bracket. Yeah, well, it is for a time. The semifinals were the 2 seed from Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero versus the 3 seed from Street Fighter Chun-Li. And by the slimmest of, well, not the slimmest, but a very slim margin.
We've seen slimmer margins.
Yeah, it's true. By only 2 votes, Sub-Zero gets by Chun-Li, punching his ticket to represent the heroes for Earthrealm. So our champion for the fate of Earthrealm on the heroes side is Sub-Zero, much to the chagrin of Mark Truex, who doesn't consider Sub-Zero a hero. And I think he probably feels very validated by the Mortal Kombat movie. But be that as it may.
But it's not Bi-Han, though. It's Kuai Liang. Like, he understands the mythos, doesn't he? I mean, if anything, he's become more of a good guy as the games have gone on.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, the Lin Kuei has an alliance with, the Earth Defenders. And, you know what? Fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah, well, you know what? Sub-Zero, he's fan favorite, so he's on the hero side. so there it is.
Yeah, I mean, we covered our bases. We had a Sub-Zero on the bad guy side. People decided to vote looks over substance, and Vega made it further.
Yeah, much
ridiculous.
Superficial fans. That's what we
just
have.
as Vega wanted. And then on the villain side,
and Vega over Melina.
Yeah, I know. A battle of 2 3-seeds. Goro from Mortal Kombat and Sagat, the Cinderella boy from Street Fighter. Sagat moving on with maybe his most decisive victory of the tournament. Easily, relatively, by comparison, dispatching Goro. And that's who's going to be representing the finals. So Sagat making it to another tournament final. I guess we underestimate him. He's pretty battle-tested when it comes to this format.
I mean, he's the original world champion in the Street Fighter mythos. So
yes.
You got to give him respect. Well, I don't know what's going on in the alpha games. I don't know. It all kind of blurs together. It's up to Seglia about it, I guess. But I like the Mortal Kombat Street Fighter rivalries that we've gotten.
Everybody watched the new Mortal Kombat movie and watched how Goro just got dismantled by a nobody. And
that's true.
Really skewed the vote.
I don't know if it's...
You didn't even think about that. Yeah, Hollywood, there was an assassination campaign on Goro's street cred.
But he made it to the semifinals. Like, Goro
because the movie hadn't come out yet.
Yeah.
I guess.
Goro would have won this thing.
He would have been out first round.
Some jobber took him out.
Yeah, this is terrible. It was awful. So what is your prediction for the finals? It is Sub-Zero for the heroes, Sagat for the villains. Although, is he a villain? Who do you got? Who are you rooting for, Jeff?
Well, I mean, I'm rooting for Earthrealm to continue. I have a house in Earthrealm. That's where I live. That's where my stuff is.
Better to reign in hell, in my opinion. So.
Quan
Chi, let's do this.
I don't know, man. Like, can I go against the momentum that Sagat has clearly built up, or do I got to stick with my boy Kuai Liang? Because I mean, Sub-Zero has consistently just moved forward. I don't think he's had to rely on any ties or anything like that. I mean, he's annihilated his competition for the most part. Chun-Li gave him a
closest one.
Yeah, which I mean, she's the world's strongest woman.
Yep. Yeah, and beat Ryu. So, I honestly thought that there was a decent shot that Chun-Li would be moving on to the finals, and
I think it was a Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter thing. And then props to the Street Fighter villains. We kind of shit on them pretty hard before we even did the brackets, and then look who's standing.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. I had it the other way. I like you expected Ryu and Shao Kahn to be there.
I think that would have been cool. Headcanon. I'm still gonna see that fight.
Davis, who you got?
It's going to be hard to overcome the nostalgia of Sub-Zero for a lot of people, I think. I think too many people love that character way too much.
People like blue ninjas.
They do. They
people
love
like
the color
ninjas
blue.
in general.
They like
blue's a cool color. Listen, blue's cooler than yellow. Like it's a more, I don't know, goes with more stuff than yellow does. And that's coming from the show.
Colors.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's coming from our show. We're scorpion themed. But I'm just saying that yellow on black shirt that we did was abysmal. Or I guess it would be the
black on yellow.
The black on yellow, rather. Yeah, that highlighter yellow T-shirt was terrible. I get it.
Love the shirt. Wear it all the time.
It's awful. Absolutely awful.
I just don't think Sagat really stands a chance unless our Street Fighter community really comes forward and just wants Street Fighter to beat Mortal Kombat. I think that's the only way he wins.
Maybe that's the real story here. That's
the other thing too, is that for the fate of Earthrealm, but also I like that it is one from each. So I do think there's going to be some sort of loyalties at play there as well. I do think Sub-Zero is coming out on top, though. Sagat's had a great Cinderella story. Dude's kind of a choker in the finals, though. So
Had a good run. Gotta lose sometime.
Yeah.
Nobody wins them all.
Yep. Before we go to break, Davis and I did a sort of full-on spoiler review of Invincible season 1.
I love the show. I can't wait to talk about it.
Well, that's exactly what I'm bringing up for right now.
The magic of radio. Oh no, I've been banished. What?
No. I want you to sort of say what you've thought about it so far, Jeff.
Oh, I thought it would have been so cool if you had just edited in the conversation. It's like,
oh no,
and then you edit it back. It's like we didn't let Jeff say a thing.
So honestly, we did a separate video that's not going to be in this episode. It's going to be one of our YouTube exclusive videos. So our friend the Gay Florida Nerd can go watch it, and give us the views that way. So wants to know my take on it, wants to give me homework. So now you got to watch the YouTube video. But Jeff, what do you think of it so far?
Well, I'm only 4 and a little bit of another episode into it, but I adore it. I think it's great. I mean, like, I knew who Invincible was, and I remember one time Truex was, babbling in my ear about the character in the comic book lore, but I tuned him out. If it's not Ultraverse, I don't want to hear from Mark. And and I mean, I kind of have like mixed emotions about Kirkman anyway, because I think Walking Dead just kind of sucks and is overrated, comic and the show. But I mean, all of this is awesome. I like the universe. I like how they build it up. I like the different superhero adventures he goes on, whether it's street villains, alien invasion, space shuttle supervision on another planet.
Yeah.
I like all the references to
episodes.
like so many cool, like, just comic book things that have happened. I like a lot of the characters. I love his costume design. I love the colors for it so much. I also like his dad's costume a lot. I think both of them just look really cool. And it's like, they don't look like that inspired by any other like established superhero, but they fit right in with anybody else. So I think the two of them look like very unique, awesome characters.
I like that Omni-Man is voiced by J.K. Simmons, has sort of a Jonah Jameson sort of esque look going on. I know some people could say Reed Richards, but I see Jameson in that face. So I definitely do.
I was gonna say he looks like what's his name, Mike Hager from Final Fight.
I see, yeah, definitely see
got
that too.
Thick build and strongman mustache.
God, he'd be a good voice for him too.
Yeah.
If we couldn't get Jesse Ventura. So
I think
living that life somewhere.
But you hit on something without getting into thank you for your service. Without getting into spoilers.
Navy SEAL, I'm a mayor.
That hurt because Hogan was a friend. But without getting into spoilers, I completely agree. The lore of the world, just all the different superheroes, they like, who their kind of their analogs are, but they're different enough to make it fun, and you want to see what they're all about as well. Like, I really like Adam Eve quite a bit in the show. Was it Damien Darklight or whatever, the demon detective is such a cool character. Like, my favorite of the show. And I like the original Guardians of the Globe, and I like Black Samson, who was apparently on the team as well back in the day. So I really enjoyed season 1. So I'm looking forward to you finishing it and us talking more about it on the show as it goes forward, and we head towards future seasons of Invincible. And I also know nothing about the comic. I don't really want to know. I think that would actually take away, because after hearing
Mark, shut up.
Well, after you reading The Boys, it seemed to lessen your enjoyment of the show The Boys. So I was just kind of like,
season 3. I don't know if I'm tuning in.
So I don't want to go down that path. But we're going to take a break. On the other side, we're going to come back and we're going to do a little bit of a debrief, a post-mortem on the Emily is Away 3 streams that we did here at the Best Damn Nerd Show. What we thought about that. How did it end if you missed it, and all that good stuff on the other side of the Best Damn Nerd Show. Welcome back to the Best Damn Nerd Show. James Kincaid alongside Jeff Budd and Chris Davis. And we are going to be spending this segment talking about the surefire Game of the Year 2021. Emily is Away 3. We did a couple of streams on it. I did not expect that there would have to be a part 2. It was much longer than both of the previous iterations of the game. But overall, before we dive into the details of the stream, just what did you guys think of this iteration of Emily and company? Jeff?
What an emotional roller coaster. My goodness, man. I didn't know how I was going to feel. It was nice being on that ride with you. I enjoyed the group chat a lot. I got to watch a lot more of it than I thought I was going to on both nights, so I really enjoyed that. My wife watched some of it, and then she just got too embarrassed. She had to walk away. But we got to see too much into what it's like behind the scenes of you having a conversation with a woman, and we did not approve.
Yeah, well, it was working out at first. And on that note, go ahead.
I was going to say, when we were talking about this game, like, I don't know, a few episodes back or whatever, I was wondering if like the nostalgia piece was gone, because the first one, very cool. Just it's about aim. Reminded me of when I was in high school. I was like the same age as the character that was in that game. I was like Facebook, Face Nook. I was like, how can I be nostalgic about something that's still around? But I don't know. You still get wrapped up in it. It's back when like social media was still, fun, and for people to just like, keep in touch and interact with each other, as opposed to just screaming into the void and hoping that people agree with you or whatever.
Do a little pokey.
Yeah, I mean, is that even still on Facebook? Can you still poke
I don't
people?
think so.
Look for it. You gotta go search for it. I actually had, because of the game, I had a little poke battle with a friend of mine, but I had to go searching for it, and then I realized I had pokes that were unpoked back for God knows how long because they stopped notifying you. Yeah, I don't even know how to really find them without searching for it specifically on there. Davis, overall thoughts on what you thought. Well, and while you do that, I have some left over. So for the people watching on YouTube, I'm going to be opening up another Mike's Hard Lemonade to enjoy during this part of the show.
I don't know if it's you enjoying it or just
our sponsor now.
Yeah. But no, what was Jeff was saying on the nostalgia part of it, I mean, Facebook was really coming out to the public around when I first got into college. So, I mean, you were still having these conversations with people and it was still happening. And yeah, like you said, there's not all this BS on there that there is now. And it was just purely just pictures and talking. There wasn't, news articles or anything like that. And it was just more pure at the time. Exactly. And it just kind of brought you back to like, wow, that is really how it was, and that's how far it's come since then, and it's a little depressing, even more so. But it was fun to watch. I mean, it was such a fun experience. The chat was very funny.
We'll get into that.
A lot of good people on there, but the game itself, I mean, hands off to the designers of it. It looked really good. I really like how they did the pictures with each person was represented by a color. You can kind of follow along that way, and you don't need like specific faces. So that was a very, very creative way to do that, because I was wondering how they were going to do pictures on there in comparison to what AIM was.
Yeah, I was very curious to that, and I think you both hit on it. I was surprised at how well, because Facebook is still around, although I think a shell of what it used to be. Kyle Seeley, the person that's developed these games, he's hit it out of the park every time, but this one was even more impressive with how much he leveled it up and was able to capture the feeling of original Facebook and how it was when it was still sort of like a .edu thing, and just the old school Facebook Messenger and the bulletin board and stuff, or not the bulletin, but the surveys and stuff, notes, I guess, that you would do. I do still think that a MySpace one would have been a lot of fun. I don't know if maybe that was just too difficult to design, but like I could definitely see an Emily is Away with MySpace incorporation into that, with top 8 stuff coming up in your chat options. I guess the only thing was MySpace didn't really have a messenger, I don't think. So maybe that's why. It's to sort of avoid duplication there. Although I will say in Emily's Away 2, it's still on AIM, but you do sort of dip a toe into Face Nook at one point in the game.
I was actually kind of hoping that he was going to do kind of a combo of the two of MySpace and Facebook, and because I didn't think you have to do it just like how it was, like, because there's so much that could have been so fun about the top 8 stuff. If you just did that, I mean, that's a whole chapter in itself. So
yeah,
you could have had a lot of fun with that.
I do want to shout out everyone that came by in the chat, everybody that contributed. It was very cool. A lot of people, stayed on throughout the whole thing. I had some friends that went out and got Mike's Hard Lemonade to drink along with me for part 2 of the stream, which was very cool. And hey, shout out to the guy that cashiers at my local bodega down the street. When I went looking to get my second pack of Mike's Hard Lemonade for part 2, he's like, I told him, I was like, this is a really weird, random question, but do you have Mike's Hard Lemonade? And he's like, no, we don't. I haven't seen that in so long. And I explained to him why. And he's like, let me look this up. He's like, you just got a new subscriber. So thank you to him as well. So that was very cool. But what were your favorite things to come out of the chat? Because I know you guys were having a ball in there, especially I think the first night. Javis or Jeff, whoever wants to jump in. Because for me, it sort of froze up at the start of the first one. So I was flying blind there for a little bit.
I mean, one thing that continued to happen was obviously you have different options for the dialogue. And, sometimes you were sort of just playing on your own. Other times you were interacting with the chat. It was always fun seeing everybody choose which one that they were going to recommend for you to do. You'd see people typing 1, 2, or 3, people arguing about it, people reacting to what it ended up sounding like or what their response was. A lot of oofs and calling you names if you had picked the wrong one.
I one of the favorite reoccurring, especially at the beginning, was when Evelyn came in, and there was a battle between who James should go with, and it was between Evelyn or Emily, and Evelyn was down to party. Let's say
Evelyn's trouble.
she definitely is more wild compared to Emily.
Yeah, she had a little bit of a dark side to her as well, and there was Team Emily and there was Team Ev, and I was on Team Ev. I was pulling hard.
I
was Team Kelly.
So was I right at the start of the game. I mean, so there will be spoilers.
How Gursky pulls something like that.
Yeah,
nice.
God, seriously, there will be spoilers as much as there can be spoilers for a game like Emily is Away. But yeah, basically the first chapter you have to choose whether to go to Emily's party or Evelyn's party, and
same night, bitches.
I know, seriously. Well, and you find out more about that is that they used to be friends, and I love that sort of dynamic. But yeah, Matt with 1 T, Gursky, the Gursk, his girlfriend Kelly,
Gurskinator.
the Gurskinator. I wish I had gotten known like a little bit more background about who he was to me at the start, because I was very sort of
you were a little cold and sort of rude.
Yeah, I was not nice.
You were downright rude.
Yeah. So, but by the end, he turned out to be true blue and really a great friend.
Solid. Yeah,
he was rock solid.
Forever, man.
A little paranoid maybe at times though, but
yeah, he was going through some stuff.
Yeah. Although who knows? I didn't go down that branch, but yeah, for me, first playthrough had to go for Emily. The game is Emily is Away.
The name of the game.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go for Evelyn in the first playthrough.
Playthrough. No, this is when we're doing it's like pistols KOTOR only type playthrough. Yeah.
Yeah. No. We're not gonna do DK mode right out of the start here. So no, thank you. But yeah, you choose to go to Emily or Evelyn's party. And yeah, Evelyn did have a lot of support, although I appreciate Mary Dan in the chat, being with me that, man, Evelyn's just not getting the hint with what I was trying to tell her to get lost. Everything.
There were too many times Evelyn was saying something where I was like, this is entrapment. She's going to copy paste this. This is going to be shared with Emily down the road. I was like, oh, this is just bad news, because you either get in a relationship with Evelyn and she's going to make your life a living hell, or you reject her the wrong way and she's going to make your life a living hell. I was like, it's not going to happen.
It's a
simulation anyway. You're not actually having sex with Evelyn, so what's the point of why are we even going down that road?
Well,
Let's go with Emily, that's more your speed anyway.
True. Because that happened, I think, in the last game where you were talking to both, and it came back at you that you were talking to both of them.
Yes. So I bring my own scars and paranoia from.
Don't even do that on the phone. Only face to face.
Yeah. So there's no record of it.
Yeah. No trail.
Prove it.
Call her from a payphone.
I do want to get into the arrival of one of my favorite moments of the entire fucking game, and things are going pretty well for me in this game. As the definitive and undisputed best Emily is Away player in the world, things were going great for me and Emily.
I think you got like the world record for the speed run and no damage playthrough. And everything.
Have to. But the new contender entering the arena that really threw me off on night 1 and continued into night 2. But the character of Jeff arrived, who is a new character to this one. My God, man, the fact that
just because he has character doesn't mean he is a character.
Yeah, well, the fact that he shares your name and the way he even came up in conversation with in Emily's like one of Emily's classes, which
So
I
insidious.
knew there was going to be bad news there when Emily and I didn't have any classes together the senior year. I knew that was bad news, but the arrival of Jeff was hilarious to me just because I knew how you'd feel about it, and everyone else in chat would feel.
I went for a walk with my dog at the time, so I wasn't in the chat to experience it live. I had to rewatch the video to see everybody's reaction. Like, Mark, get it, Jeff. There's nothing more dangerous than a 2008 Jeff. You got a fool. He was a bastard.
At the time, I feared him immediately. I think it was one of my favorite responses of the whole playthrough is, "Who's Jeff?"
I never knew fear until I saw Jeff in 2008.
The son of storms.
I think
The son of salt
No shit.
came in, salted your game. I mean,
seriously.
mission accomplished if that was all he was going for. I will admit, though, night 2, actually getting to see Jeff in action, I was let down. I was disappointed that that's all Jeff ended up being. I was like, come on, man, you're not... This isn't like a real fight. He's one of those beta, I'm actually your friend, but he's not your friend to the girl. I was like, I don't care for this bottom feeder Jeff who's trying to enter the relationship ecosystem, poison it, and then just salvage whatever's left of Emily.
Do you remember the Game Killers, the Axe Body Spray Game Killers series?
No, I don't remember that.
They did this whole series of like people that essentially would salt your game. And they'd have a different like Axe body spray to get rid of them. There was one that was the Sensitivo that was like the Jeff that would, befriend them and like, poison their mind against you. And then there's like another one, it's the Mother Hen. It's like, we go out as a group, we go home as a group.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that commercial.
Yeah, and then there's like the one that just does like dick and fart jokes the whole time, like when you're trying to.
John needed that spray.
Exactly what I was going for. Yeah, I think I may have talked about this before, but yeah, Jeff was definitely one of the Axe body spray game killers for sure.
Yeah.
I honestly, and this is as it went along, and the fact that I didn't buy into the Gursk's paranoia is I would not have been surprised if Jeff was just like a platonic friend. The whole time, or even gay or whatever, not interested in the way that we were jumping to conclusions about. Turned out that was not the case. But
yeah, I was wondering if it was going to turn out that Jeff and Anna were just in a relationship the entire time. And it's not like Emily would share that information with you, because why would you even need to know that? Those are just her friends from class. But yeah, if you had bought into the Gursky's paranoia, it would have blown up in your face horribly. Yes. I mean, I feel like you said it was the Kobayashi Maru, and that's exactly what it was. I feel you did everything right with that play. Well, maybe not everything right, but I mean, we weathered the prom storm pretty well.
Yeah.
And then just night and day. I don't know what happened, Emily. You just woke up one day out of the blue?
Out of the fucking blue! So there is one moment that from night 1...
I'm your closest friend?
Yeah, what the
And that was one thing. When you added Jeff as a friend on Facebook, he's like, hey, any friend of Emily's is a friend of mine. I thought that was him just really going to the hole. I was like, he just marked his territory. He just flat out called you her friend.
Dude, yeah, that was
she was so incredibly vague about who she was going to prom with. Just tag James's name.
I didn't have a problem with that because we were clearly in a relationship on Facebook. Yeah, that is true. Yeah,
red is the color of all your enemies. Brad, Jeff. If you had killed Jeff earlier, another one would have shown up.
It really was the Kobayashi Maru. But as much as I don't believe in a no Emily scenario, I'll get more into that in a moment. But there was one part that I do wish I had a do-over that was from night 1. Night 2, I do wish I had maybe played the stuff at the very end a little bit differently and not brought Jeff's name up. But
let emotion get a hold of you.
Jesus Christ. I mean, the girl is saying that you're no longer in a relationship. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, man.
No.
you were grabbing her by the ankles and crying uncontrollably.
I was.
It's like, I'm going to go take a shower. We'll talk later. Could we talk tonight? Can you give me a place tonight?
Well, you mull over other decisions that you didn't like, but the one that I didn't like was on night 1 when the rumors about the Gursk. I regret bringing up the rumors about the Gursk to Emily. I feel like that was, even though we like diverted her from talking to him and that seemed like a positive at the time, I feel like hindsight being what it is and knowing that what a true blue friend the Gursk is, I misread that situation and misplayed it, and I bought into Evelyn's bullshit too much.
I want to play it once and just back up Gursky the entire time. I don't even give a shit about Emily or Evelyn. I'll just be floating around.
Gursk is for life, not those two broads.
Seriously. And then for Gursky to say that you're the strongest person he knows, my God, man, just feels. It's kind of like when Obi-Wan's last words to Anakin before he went to go fight Grievous.
I don't know. I don't get that reference. I appreciated when Gursk was like backing me up and being such a good friend. One, a couple things, 2 vocabulary words that I'm going to try and incorporate: shitlord and dick bagel moving forward, thanks to Emily is away. But when the Gursk was, talking me up and hyping me up, and I think it was Mark in chat or somebody's like, yeah, remember when you sold them out? That was so funny. And it's true. It was fucking true, and I feel bad about it, dude.
Yeah, you should feel like shit. You know what? You don't deserve Emily if that's how you're going to treat
No,
Gursk.
I do. I loved her.
To think that you still ended up with Gursky at the end.
God.
There was just a lot of, in my household, I was playing it, and Courtney could hear you guys in the background, and she's like, "Oh, James. Oh, no, not that James. No, James. Oh, James."
Yeah, which decision specifically?
There was quite a few. I mean, that wasn't just a one-time thing. So,
sometimes I didn't have the best choices to choose from.
That's the frustrating thing about that game is sometimes you get stuck with like some real shit dialogue, or they force you to go down a conversation avenue that's like, I don't even want to talk about this in any which way.
But did you put yourself in that situation from like multiple conversations ago?
Possibly. I don't know how I how do you untie this Gordian knot? I don't know.
Yeah.
But entire thing is ridiculous. There's one part that I liked. It wasn't even a dialogue option for you. It was when Gursky found out that Emily had dumped you, and then so he wrote on her wall. Like,
yes, called her a dick bagel.
That reminded me of I don't know how much you used to watch the show Scrubs, but when like JD's ex turned out to be pregnant, and he tried to ask her a question like at this seminar, and she just ignored him and moved on to another hand that she saw up, and it was Turk, and he's like, I want you to answer his question. And I was like, that's a Gursky move.
Yeah, that's a true Gursky move.
Everybody needs a Gursky or a Turk in their life.
That's a true Gursk move. Any specific decisions, Jeff, that you hated that I made?
Oh God! Well,
I'm sure there are a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd need to return to the videos to see for sure. But one thing is, you start imitating like her mannerisms and type of speech, which it sickens me to my core. And just like the fact that like she says, I don't give a shit that she doesn't like saying goodbye. You don't say laters. Laters. Oh my God, dude, that's so low T. I can't even with you. And then the fact that you still went with the laters after she had dumped your ass and said goodbye.
Yeah, she said goodbye.
Chin up.
No, man, I just took it, and just
you really did.
Begged like a dog.
This is why we're here.
That's why I'm still here. Oh,
I think there had to be. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm trying to look back and trying to figure out how you might be able to keep her, like actually like in the game with Emily, and I think maybe.
Listen, I had a great run with her though. You know,
I
she
think
I
about
kinda
her
can't, honestly. I want to go back to Emily is Away 1, where it's just you don't end up with Emily, and that's life.
I think you screwed it up from the beginning, and you have to be the a-hole. Maybe this guy that made the game is like, nah, you never get the girl at this age unless you're the a-hole.
I want to find out if you have to end up in a relationship with her at a certain point, because this one seemed to be, let's get the relationship and then see how long you can maintain it. Where
Yeah.
the last two games, it's really been chasing Emily down and just hoping to get it at the end. And like Brad never really surfaced as like a true rival.
No,
or
we just
or
spashed
issue.
him to start.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you used some sort of cheat code to just eliminate him. I don't even know if Jeff is actually in the game. It was just some sort of counter script to make up. It's like Brad was supposed to still be here in a power player. It's like we're just going to use the same color and just give him a new name. It's just some generic villain now. But yeah, I wonder if like Brad can become more of a formidable force. Can you do something else? I kind of am curious about the Evelyn stuff. I played Emily is Away, the first one, because I was at your place that one time. But I don't even know if I finished it. I think I just let you finish it. And I never played the second one.
That tracks.
Yeah. It's like I never played the
You're
second one.
not doing it right.
Yeah, that's probably you standing over my shoulder and making sure that I'm typing the right one. You have to type it out, Jeff. It doesn't matter.
You're not
that
being
it does
nice
it for
enough.
you. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about how you've gone down a couple other roads, because I was curious about.
Oh, you already have.
Is Kelly attainable?
I will. I've not done another full playthrough yet, but I'll be completely honest. You know, after first of all, I thoroughly enjoyed streaming the game and just doing that with everyone. It felt very collaborative and just a cool community event. And I hope we do more stuff like that. I have some thoughts on some other games, and I think Emily is Away is the perfect game for me to stream. It is the game I was born to play, and stream for everybody.
I can't imagine watching that with anybody else playing, honestly. And how long those videos were. I mean, I told you that it's a talent to keep people like entertained and engaged that long. I mean, we were having fun in the chat, but I don't know. It could have been real dull, real fast. But I think you have to fully
you have to fully commit to it and really enjoy it. And I thoroughly enjoy and get into the role play aspect of these games. As I ruminated on the heartbreak of Emily, I'm gonna say so. Yeah. Anyway, I was like, you know, I felt like Inigo in Princess. I must know, and so I was
disappointment if you're gonna play these games.
Okay. So I did want to find out a little bit about Kelly, because she did catch my eye right from the start of Emily is Away 3, because she's a bombshell. She got Mean Girls quote and Lord of the Rings quote in her bio, like, and she just seems like a cool chick. And yeah, she's a fox. She's smoked.
She was number 2 on your compatibility quiz too, right after Emily.
She was. That she was. So I did I've not finished it, but I wanted to do a semi playthrough to get to the point where her and Matt break up to see how that plays out. And
doing Gursky dirty here, man.
I mean, I feel bad for the guy.
That's the only reason I would be hands off with Kelly, is out of respect to Gursk. Yeah,
well, once I knew that, but that was like my default reaction at the start. I was like, oh, who's this Kelly? Because I know Matt Gursky from a fucking hole in the ground at first, so I didn't realize that we were best friends. But anyway, so they break up. I get to that point, and God, it seemed like to take forever that time to get to Kelly coming to Colin. But when she finally did, I was trying to engage all of the chat reactions that were as sort of like driving to the hoop as much as I could. And she seemed like she wanted to talk about the breakup, or like, she's like, hey, can I ask you a favor? Like, you seem like a really good listener and da-da-da-da-da. And yeah. So here's the option I went with. I got what I wanted. You know, I had like the targets. I was like, I'm here for you, whatever you need, Kelly. Like, fire away. Like, let's see how this goes.
Are you hearing this? Davis James doesn't even know. You don't even know that you lost at that point. God, man. You thought that was setting you up for it?
Well, it was the best option I had to get what I thought was some type of what's going on. Trust me. So we get there, but no, it's worth it for the fact it's like, so clearly I'm insinuating myself into this situation with Kelly, and her reaction is, oh, you thought ... I wanted you to talk to Matt. It's just like complete, like, kaboosh. So I think Emily was correct when she said that Kelly was way out of our league. So there it
Imagine that
is.
happening in real life. I'd kill myself.
Dude.
Does
I
Kelly
wouldn't
know
be able to
she's
go to
out?
school the next day.
Does Kelly know that she's out of Gersh League?
Well,
Nobody's
I mean,
out of Gursky's league. How dare you say that?
You mean Gerst's out of her league?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That guy's a great guy. But I lost my shit. I was like, oh my God, thank God I didn't do that on the stream. I would have had a full-on fucking meltdown. Like the chat would have torn me apart.
We would have rioted.
Been a bunch of fucking damn apes just rattling the cages, throwing shit
That's exactly
everywhere.
what I was thinking. We'd all be running up to the bars.
It's a madhouse.
And then Joe, a few minutes later, would have to apologize. Mark's be getting real sad and asking me to be nice to you.
But I do agree with you. If you haven't played through the first Emily is Away, the ending of that one stands alone as, one of the great moments in gaming for me, because it's the grand reveal of what happens at the end, no matter how you play it, is stunning and just a complete masterstroke of game development and storytelling. It's something else, man. And just all the sad little things that I don't even want to say fully. If you haven't done it, just go watch either the playthrough that I did or play it yourself, and you won't be disappointed. I do like that there's a certain aspect that in this one harkens back to that. From what Tim said in the chat, you can't win on the first playthrough. There's no way to do it, but on the second playthrough you can, but it's very difficult. Yeah. So as long as it's difficult, I prefer the Kobayashi Maru though. I don't think you should be able to attain it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's something for the Western audiences. Maybe in Japan or whatever. It's like, no, you just can't win. That's just how it is.
That's
like
life.
The original Resident Evil, where you could never bring the anti-venom back in time for that one Bravo team member. He just dies of the snake poison. Well,
and I love good narrative. And Jeff, I know you just finished listening through this Metal Gear Solid playthrough videos that you're doing. I don't know how much he got into spoilers, but I assume you know pretty much everything.
It is a 5.5 hour video. Yeah, he
I
got
think
everything.
I think the better ending of Metal Gear Solid is Meryl dying. Mm-hmm. I think that's a better story because loss, failure, heartbreak are compelling story elements, and so I think not ending up with Emily. Jeff and I were talking offline before we did the stream. Was like, I'm kind of rooting for you to not get Emily, and I said I am too. I'll play to win, and I absolutely will do whatever is in my power to win. But I hope it's not enough because that's the story, and that's the way it should be. So, I had a blast playing it. I'm thinking Life is Strange would be a good thing to stream, which is we've talked about it a little bit on the show. I feel like way back, but Jeff, you and I have a interesting history with that game. It's about a girl photo student, Max Caulfield, who essentially gets limited time travel capabilities, essentially the Omega 13. She gets to correct a single mistake.
That's so good. Yeah.
And I remember when you came
up when the powers went haywire.
That's true. Well, that's why it pays to be a listener. That's a real life superpower.
I had to text you. I was like, James, I screwed up real bad.
Well, that was my favorite thing is that Jeff came up to visit and I was telling him about this game and we played it for a few minutes and Jeff said, this game stinks. I don't want to play it. I thought it was stupid.
I shit on it so bad.
He did, yeah. So we went to bed and I was like a little defeated. I was like, oh, it's a great game. I went to work the next day.
Yeah, making James feel bad right before bed is... That's what I did as I'm a guest in your home.
I go to work the next day and I get a text from Jeff being like, I forgot what it even was. He's like, I'm hanging out with Chloe and like her dad just came into the room or something, something like that. I was like,
this close to kissing her. What's going on?
Yeah, he sent me some text that let me know that not only had he picked it up, but he was deep into the game and he was bought and paid for. So it hooked
invested.
him too. Yeah. So that's another one of those games where you can make choices, and I feel like it would be very good for the chat. That's one I definitely want to do, and there's some crazy stuff that happens in that game. And it's another
spoiler. James is going to pick the non-canon ending.
I will absolutely pick the canon ending.
Not to me.
Yeah, well, you stink. And another one I want to do, I have to figure out how to get it to work. I hear it's possible, but I want to do during Davis season, spooky season. I want to play through Until Dawn, and do that for a stream. So I think that would be fun.
Please,
well, is the new
interview.
one? Is the new one coming out? The one that we?
Oh yeah, probably. I think it's out actually.
There's another one?
It's not Until Dawn. It's from the same studio.
Oh, right. And you guys didn't like your little water adventure one.
Oh God, Man of Medan stunk.
We had our fun.
We could stream that in a single night for sure. That game is so short.
Because it's a 2-player too, right? You guys played it together, yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But yeah, anybody that has ideas on what I should stream next or that would be akin to Emily is Away or anything like that, bestdamnnerdshow.com/Discord. Get in on the conversation. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. I really had a fun time doing it, so I'm going to look to do more of that and do some more of this debriefing stuff. But Kyle Seeley, hats off to you for developing Emily is Away. Each sequel, you level up a little bit more. So I'm going to try and we got to get him on the show. My dream of dreams is to play through a chapter of one of the games with him and me just like, so what the fuck were we thinking here? Like, but anyway,
that would be, I would love it if like he interacted with you and it turns out that he had a vision of you in a dream. He didn't know you were a real person and the entire game is based on you.
He just watches the playthrough. He's like, you did it exactly as I would have done. You're the perfect player. You're who I've been looking for. Anyway, we're going to take one more break. On the other side, May the 4th and Revenge of the 5th, This is the May, have come and gone. We're going to be talking Star Wars, The Bad Batch on the other side on the Best Damn Nerd Show. Welcome back to the Best Damn Nerd Show. James Kincaid alongside Jeff Budd and Chris Davis. And in honor of Star Wars Revels coming and going this week, and that's Revels with a V, not Star Wars Rebels. We're going to be talking about Star Wars.
That's fun too.
Yeah, I've heard. I have to check it out. We're going to be talking about Star Wars: The Bad Batch. Laying all my cards out on the table again. I have not watched Rebels. I have not watched Clone Wars. But I've been encouraged to do so. And with Mandalorian being so good, I feel sort of hopeful to do something like that for the first time in ages, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So maybe give it another shot. And as I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
50-50?
No, I'm not 50-50.
No, much less than that. much less.
30-70.
Yeah. 30-70. I
wish you liked 50% of the Star Wars.
I like the canon stuff, the original 3. Anyway, we're not going to divulge or delve into that.
Where's John and
Tim
to completely derail this segment and just piss you off?
Yeah, no, I dealt with them ahead of time tonight. Made sure they're not here. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Star Wars: The Bad Batch. And so I haven't watched Clone Wars. Apparently that's where they pop up for the first time. Jeff, can you give a little bit of background on the Bad Batch, or is that you haven't gotten there yet either?
Last season of Clone Wars, the one that aired on Disney Plus, never even aired on Cartoon Network. So I had not seen, I had heard of them. Okay. And I play that Star Wars Galactic Heroes or whatever on the iPhone. And all the Bad Batch characters this month have been events characters that you can earn, and so I've been unlocking the entire team, and they're fun to play with. I don't have Crosshair yet, but I've got everybody else. They haven't released them.
Now I know we did a video on the trailer and everything. I thought it looked good. I was intrigued. Feels kind of
looks like fun.
A-teamy. Yeah, it looked like fun.
Yeah.
So I was into giving it a shot. We all did. We've all watched the first episode. As of this recording, the second one is hit. Our bad. Sorry. But we
barely.
But we'll talk about that one another time. But we'll talk about that extra long first episode now. Overall thoughts on the Bad Batch before we dive into the details, Davis?
It was fun. This was good Star Wars to me. I really like the lore behind of how these clone troopers came to be on Kamino, and they're just not they because I couldn't grasp if they were designed to be a little bit faulty or if they were faulty and then were altered.
the way I looked at it, and I don't know, like I said, all I know about the Bad Batch for sure is what was shown in the first episode, but it seemed to me that they were kind of playing up these different, like, either recessive traits and things like that. And so it was intentional, but still defective, like purposely defective, other than
Right.
Echo, who was a regular clone, and then after
Damaged.
some sort of he's damaged. Because I actually have two characters of Echo in the Star Wars Galactic Heroes. I have him when he was just a clone trooper, and then I have him as his Bad Batch version.
Oh.
So I know I want to say he was in the 501st with Rex and Anakin and everything, but I don't know for sure.
What's the deal with the clone troopers in the show anyway? How different are they?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, do they all have distinct personalities, or are they just straight up clones?
I mean, from what you develop like sort of different personalities to a degree, and it's kind of cool getting to see them. They're individuals, you know. I mean, does it have a soul? You know, do they have souls?
No.
And so no, I like seeing them as individual characters. They obviously have a ton in common, but you do get to see them branch out and kind of become their own person, which is pretty cool. It makes the show really interesting. Makes Revenge of the Sith a lot more heartfelt, especially when you get to know those Jedi Masters and then see how they die and everything, and see their clones turn on them. Like, whew, boy. You know, I mean, in 2005, I mean, it was cool to see, but it was somewhat meaningless, a lot of those deaths.
Somewhat.
Like now,
very.
now it actually, it rings true, and it's important. Just like the relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan is much stronger thanks to that series.
It was really interesting to see in this episode, just the viewpoint from the clones after Order 66. Like, I thought that was very, especially from their point of view.
Yeah.
It was fascinating to me. It was cool to see, and it was well done, especially since I think it was Crosshair. That's his name.
Yeah, the sniper.
Yeah, just still had a little bit of that in him. It created a really good dynamic between them all.
Yeah,
Jeff, what have you? What did you think of the first episode
to explore? I liked it a lot. It didn't take long for them to get me to buy in. I'm glad that it was a little longer of a first episode, so that you really get to feel out what was going on. It was cool seeing the cameos of various characters from other parts of the Star Wars mythos. I don't know if you guys realized, but that Admiral Tarkin, that's Grand Moff Tarkin from A New Hope.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, from Rogue One?
Oh my god!
Yeah, the guy who stole credit for the Death Star.
Oh,
that was
Krennic's credit.
That's his achievement.
Man, he looked so much better in Rogue One and then the sequels.
Well, you know what I thought was kind of weird was I saw in Revenge of the Sith the man had full jet black hair.
Yeah.
Tarkin. And it's like he didn't have full jet black hair in this episode, and this episode takes place before that scene.
Well, it's because
he should still be Anakin Skywalker walking around.
Well, maybe
not Darth Vader yet.
Yeah, just for Moff or whatever on his hair at that time.
I think they should have stuck with the established canon. I wanted to see a younger looking Tarkin.
Canon.
Revenge of the Sith is established canon.
Sorry. I'll push that down deep inside.
We got a Hunter Crosshair thing going on right here. And then also getting to see a young Kanan Jarrus and how that played out from Star Wars Rebels. That was really cool. When he still went by Caleb. When I saw him, I recognized the voice, and then I was like, Caleb. And then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Kanan had changed his name. And it was kind of cool because they mentioned, I think it was when the Inquisitor or whatever was talking to Kanan, and Kanan said that his last words that his master had said to him were run, and then you get to see that scene play out. I didn't like how long she lasted. I think it's a lot better to just have clone troopers gun them down real fast, just to show how merciless it is. But I still liked, most of how it was and how they interacted with each other the moments before Order 66. Like I said, it's a dark time in the Star Wars galaxy, mythos, but it's a really interesting time too, the rise of the Empire.
It is, and I don't want to belabor the clone point too much, but in terms of developing their personalities and how they've chosen to do that it's just because you and I like the 40K stuff. The Astartes, it's like, that they wouldn't have like that much of a personality, but they do a good job in those books of sort of developing their differing personalities because of their life experiences and battle experiences and stuff like that. So I do see the similarities there. I really enjoyed this first episode as well, and I'm something of a skeptic when it comes to new Disney Star Wars drivel. But
always nice to introduce a new guy into the fandom. Welcome to Star Wars.
Cite the old magics at me. But I enjoyed it, and I like the team. I like the little squad. Like, it's just I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you said A-Team. You know what I got vibes of? The Losers. Because I was like completely disavowed. Crosshair is definitely the Idris Elba character. I can't think of what the character's name is from the comic book. And I was like, man, that's the vibe I was getting from all of them. And Tech is kind of like whatever Captain America's name was.
Chris Evans.
Yeah, Chris Evans. Thank you. But that's who I was thinking of. I was thinking of the Losers quite a bit. Oh, and and Crosshair is kind of like the Sniper as well. So there's like a couple of combinations there.
I like all the sort of archetypes they're giving. I texted you a little bit about it. So who I liked right off the bat, really like Crosshair, really like Hunter. Looks like Solid Snake, so of course I'm going to like Hunter. I like
to get Poe Dameron to play him.
Fuck you.
I hope they get the Apocalypse guy to play him in a live action.
Oh God. I really like how Wrecker looks, his armor and stuff like that. Again, very 40K. His personality wore a little tiresome on me by the end of the first episode, but I get it. Like, if he'd be the exact same way, if not more so, if this came out in the 90s. So I understand. Yeah, exactly. And I understand they have to fit sort of neatly into these little child boxes. So one guy's super smart and he does like all the Donatello stuff and so forth. And
I had to remind myself through this, like, oh yeah, this is a child show. Just because of Wrecker, like, I like to blow stuff up. I'm like, okay, I get it, man.
Yeah, the food fight scene. I was like, okay.
Oh, you guys didn't like the fight in the mess hall? I like the fight.
It was
cool.
fine.
I don't know. I like that military stuff and just the different squads sticking together and everything. I thought all that was pretty cool. And then Tarkin just dismissively watching all that. This is exactly why he's against clones.
Yeah, I had to remind myself right at the start too when one of the droids was like, "Hey, stop that!" and like was getting like pushed off the cliff and doing some stupid shit. But I was like, some of the animes I like, pull that card every now and then they do the messed up stuff. So like, FMA will have a stupid short joke about Ed, but I still love that show. So I had to sort of stay my hand a little bit. But I really enjoyed
that's established
it.
Star Wars droid canon. That they all say stupid shit constantly.
God, there's a bomb on your chest. What's this? Fucking assistant principal and Ferris Bueller all over again. So dumb. I hate those damn battle droids. But I've really enjoyed the first episode of the Bad Batch. Who are your favorite sort of characters, Jeff?
Oh, Hunter and Crosshair for sure. I like Crosshair. I mean, if we're talking spoilers, I don't know what's going to happen with Crosshair, but hoping like by the season finale he undoes his programming and saves them. Yeah, it's like I want him to continue to be a part of the Bad Batch.
He was the coolest character.
He's so fucking cool. I love his voice and just how he carries himself. And when he kept, bothering Hunter about letting the kid go, and he's like, when somebody falls down a cliff, they look down, they don't look across. I was like, damn, Crosshair doesn't miss. It's like, wow, that is a sharp eye.
It's in his charter.
I was like, what an awful, creepy thing to say. He's absolutely right.
Yeah. Some people don't like to watch like you, Crosshair.
Well, I feel like that's always what they do with the sniper character in these types of shows. They're always like the cold-blooded killer because it's like the most intimate kill. Yeah, because they really see their target. Damn, dude. Yeah, no, I like him a lot. And then Hunter's just cool. I mean, he's just a cool leader guy. And then
looks awesome.
I kind of like Echo too, especially because he's not your normal Bad Batch guy. It's like he was just he was your typical clone.
Yeah,
and then bad shit happened to him.
Batch shit happened to him.
So I mean, Wrecker and Tech. I mean, I like them both, but I'm not like huge fans of them. I was happy though to see Wrecker just mess shit up in the mess. It's like he's stronger than any other clone. He's the strongest clone. Can't stop him. You would need to have like 4 or 5 of them jump him.
I like
and it's their superior Mandalorian DNA, which is why all the clone troopers are so strong.
I like that test sequence they did too when they were facing the droids with the live rounds and stuff like that. That was cool.
Do you guys think though that the militaries in Star Wars Galaxy are getting progressively inefficient? Because I do not think conscripts are better than clones, especially clones of Jango Fett. And I do not think a clone army can hold its own against a droid army where I can build 100 million droids in like a week. And it's like I can't make that many.
Better.
Yeah, how is clone better? Show me how it's clone better.
Can't finish
that
in there.
Why
Ivan?
are we intentionally weakening the Empire here, Tarkin? Why are you so anti-clone? They clearly just follow orders. It's perfect. Isn't this what we want?
Tarkin was anti-droid, so anti-machine, and clones are kind of like, too adjacent to that because of their programming and stuff.
Like he really hates Echo.
Well, I mean. So you bring up an interesting point because from like the card game and certain other like expanded universe and stuff like that, like I look at the cloners on Kamino and in my head canon, because of what I've read, it's like, well, Tarkin has to be disgusted by them because like the things I read is they hate they hate alien species, like that guy in A New Hope when he looks at Chewbacca and says, "Where are you taking this thing?" That's how I look at the Empire. So, their interactions with them, which is why
everybody's looked at Wookiees like that for thousands of years. If KOTOR has taught us anything,
that is true. But I mean, that's why it's such a huge deal that Grand Admiral Thrawn rose to the level that he did, because he is an alien. Granted, very similar to humanoids, but still an alien. So
cool.
Looks awesome.
Yeah. Put him in a white outfit. That's amazing.
Weirdly handsome too. So I get it. I dig it. Permission to come aboard, Grand Admiral. But that was one thing that I took. So maybe Tarkin just doesn't like machines and doesn't like those weird, because they are Mandalorian blood. So maybe he doesn't like them. I don't know. But you're right. Conscripts less efficient than clones. Yeah, and
that's why everybody says those stormtroopers in A New Hope are so much. I mean, I don't know if that's canon or anything, but because those are still supposed to be former clones and everything, because those are Vader's guys.
Yeah, I don't really care for that.
Well, I don't care for that because I mean, if we hold up to any sort of canon, I would like it to be what Obi-Wan Kenobi had to say about Imperial blasters and stormtroopers being that efficient with their shooting. But whatever.
Yeah, because that came out first, so that should be what is canon. I agree.
We should build around that.
Yes, absolutely. Davis, favorite characters from the Bad Batch?
I mean, Hunter's definitely my favorite, but I like Echo and Tech quite a bit. Tech kind of grew on me as the show went on. I liked a lot of his lines. He just kind of him and big dude
Wrecker.
Thank you. Their banter I liked quite a bit, mostly on his end, so that was good. And then we even got a little bit of sneak peek at young Saw Gerrera from.
Oh yeah,
and I would like
from the legendary Guerrero family of luchadors.
Should have known he was going to turn heel.
And he was like,
"We cheat, we steal, baby."
He was one of the characters in the sequels. I was like, wow, I'd actually want to see like what he was like before.
He's on the Clone Wars show, and he's also on Star Wars Rebels. Yeah,
he's
the Star Wars Rebels one is good because that takes place after this, and he's already gone.
Okay,
he's like very brutal. He's not as defeated as he is in Rogue One, and then you get to see I love that. It's just a very sad and dark part of the rebellion. He should have been in more of the movie.
He should have been.
But then, he's like so much more optimistic and freedom fighty in the Clone Wars, obviously. And they were on Onderon, which I always love that place.
You know what I was thinking about during the Bad Batch too, Jeff, was that Star Wars game that we played where I had to hide the rebel base. Like hearing him talk about the planets and stuff like that, I was like, ooh, I forget what that planet produces. Oh man, what did we think about Omega, the little girl clone, the fifth clone, or the fifth whatever souped up clone? I don't think we really know that much about her.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
fine. Like I said, I feel it's like those old style sci-fi shows where they always have like the one little kid character.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you saw that also with like Wesley Crusher and the one kid from Sequest, but they had it in those like old shows and everything too. You kind of need like the little mascot of the team or whatever, and she's like their sister. So I mean, it fits perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it definitely fits with the style show for the kids. They're like, oh well, I could be her, and I think these shows need that. But she didn't annoy me though either, as like the kid presence in it, which they typically do. I think she was more.
Yeah.
She actually was pretty good for what she was.
Well, because Wrecker's the most childish. Like if you want to say who's the kid in the group, it's Wrecker.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
He's Killer Croc of the Bad Batch.
It was a big droid that he smashed the other droids with.
Yeah.
Go boom.
I
remember he's a constructed weapon. You know, it's like that's partly why.
That's what they
not
made
a
him
full
to do.
Functioning individual.
I haven't seen any of the reaction really online to it yet, but I don't know how much of a sort of a surprise it would be to people that are more familiar with the Bad Batch that Crosshair, for lack of a better term, it betrayed them or sided with the Empire. I wonder how the community sort of feels about that. I like it because I like that we have one member of the Bad Batch on the Empire side. I think that makes sense, like in his whole idea of like, good soldiers follow orders and stuff like that. Totally tracks. I do hope they win him over. They disable that inhibitor chip and he joins back up with them. But I like it for now. I think it's cool that he's sort of the main villain on the other side.
Yeah.
Definitely a season-long story arc that could last a while. So
or longer. Yeah.
Potentially.
Who knows?
Back
Maybe
on the good guy team. Season finale.
He is.
I don't know. As we're talking now, it turns out he's already switched sides. What we're talking about is so dated.
Yeah, minor spoiler alert. He hasn't yet.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. You added on in the background.
Also, in the second episode, it's the same crew. It feels like, and you guys can tell me, they sort of did just a rehash of one of the episodes of The Mandalorian. in this episode, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Mandalorian's a good show.
Yeah, but it's like,
what if I wanted to watch that episode more than once?
Maybe the kids didn't watch that show because the parents won't let them.
Thank you, Vinny. All right, I'll end with this as we wrap up talking about the Bad Batch, but back to Star Wars at large. Jeff, why are prequel memes so good? Like, just what is the Star Wars?
I was like, am I
memes?
supposed to like answer in a prequel quote?
No, you're not. That's why I'm here.
Damn,
I mean, because honestly, it's like the most enjoyable thing about the prequels. Their memes are the best.
The prequels have such a charm thanks to them. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, because I've looked at OT original trilogy memes.
They're not as good.
It's no, it just
because the source material's too good.
And that's what I'm saying. It's too dry. It's like, it's just, I'd rather just watch the movie. But with the prequel memes, it's like, yeah, you just give me a whole page of memes to read through. I'll just do that instead. I get the gist of the movies.
It's honestly helped my sort of affection towards the prequels. The sequel trilogies are such dreck, and then the prequel memes are
their
so
memes are terrible too. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that tracks. But
I've actually never watched the prequels. I just know the story from the memes.
It's a better story that way.
Interesting story, yeah.
That's why my favorite character is the Senate. I think he's cool.
That's ironic. All right, we're going to leave everything right there. Have a great week, everyone. Remember, if you're a nerd, always say it loud and say it proud.